When you're doing a video series like Real Action, you can never go too long without mentioning Shane Black. And when it comes to Christmas action movies, Shane Black is the guy to turn to. The holiday spirit brought us our video on The Last Boy Scout this time last year, and this time the Yuletide tidings bring us another Shane Black classic, The Long Kiss Goodnight. It's funny that we don't think of The Long Kiss Goodnight as a Christmas movie, the way we famously argue about Die Hard all the time. But that's okay. For guys like me, and probably you if you're watching this video, it's absolutely an annual favorite around this time. The film starred Geena Davis as Samantha Kane, a small-town schoolteacher who woke up with amnesia 8 years ago. With no memory of who she was, she still manages to build a life with a loyal husband and young daughter. That is, until she discovers that she was actually one of the world's best assassins, and she's being hunted by her former employers. The only way to save herself and her family is to hit the road with dubious private eye Mitch Hennessy, played by the untouchably cool Samuel L. Jackson, and learn the truth about her past. We'll come back to why Samuel L. Jackson is so untouchable in this film a bit later. Thanks for watching Real Action. If you enjoy our shows, please subscribe to our channel right now, like this video, and click on the bell so you can be notified each time a new video goes up. The Long Kiss Goodnight wasn't just another action movie. With Geena Davis as the star, playing a role traditionally designed for a man, the film was a rarity and a ballsy gamble. Davis also would have seemed like an unlikely pick for this type of flick, but then she was married at the time to director Renny Harlin, the guy behind Die Hard 2, The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, and Cliffhanger. He was also the director of Cutthroat Island, an infamous big-budget pirate movie known for being an epic flop that destroyed careers. Davis starred in that too, and its impact on The Long Kiss Goodnight would be felt, and not in a good way. But The Long Kiss Goodnight is insanely good, with Harlin doing some of his career's best work, using the icy setting to let Davis pull off some really crazy stuff on ice skates. Tonya Harding ain't got nothing on her, man.
Suck my dick.
What I love about it is that it's basically many movies rolled into one. You've got the crazy, explosive, over-the-top action that Harlin really excelled at, and this dynamic killer lead performance from Davis. She was really built for doing this kind of role, and it's a shame we never got to see more of her doing it. You also get this great, complex script from Black that finds Samantha slowly figuring out aspects of her past, ultimately revealing itself in the form of a buried persona, that of lethal assassin Charlie Baltimore. One of my favorite scenes ever has Samantha, who at this point knows nothing of who she used to be, suddenly figuring out that she's got knife skills that would put an Iron Chef to shame. As veggies get sliced and diced, what starts off as an innocent revelation turns dark as she throws a blade right through the heart of a tomato, leaving her family stunned. There are lots of little moments like this that allow Davis to play a pretty complicated character, juggling the innocence of Samantha with the untamed Charlie, whose sex appeal is as deadly as her skills with a blade. And this being a Shane Black flick, she's got some hellified zingers too.
Good evening, pretty lady. How about some company?
No thanks, I'm saving myself till I get raped.
But let's talk about Davis's co-star in this, the great Samuel L. Jackson. The Mitch Hennessy character might be his best ever, and that's saying something when you think about his roles in Pulp Fiction, Star Wars, he was a freaking Jedi, Nick Fury in the MCU, and even Shaft. And that's not just me being hyperbolic. Mitch is also Jackson's favorite character. In a 2018 interview with The Undefeated, Jackson listed Mitch at the top of his 20 all-time favorite roles, and The Long Kiss Goodnight right up there with it. Quote, "My dude, I love that movie so much. A movie way ahead of its time. Geena Davis, awesome Charlie Baltimore character. The studio didn't know how to market that film because they didn't know that women like seeing themselves as badasses. I kept saying, you need to advertise this thing during the day when women are watching soaps. Whatever. They were like, I don't know what you're talking about." Jackson would go on to reveal that in the original version, Mitch was actually killed off, but this threw test audiences into an outrage on some "you can't kill Samuel L. Jackson" stuff.
And the audience is like, oh, hell no.
And so they rewrote it to keep Mitch around. Honestly, I can't imagine the movie without him. It also makes his line at the explosive, ridiculously red-hot finale, "That's right, you can't kill me, motherfuckers," even more awesome and sorta meta. Nope, they literally can't kill you, Mitch.
So this is his escape chute right here. He's mean, quick, and he don't take no shit either, right? He can shoot at the guards with his arrow right here, like choo, 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 choo. It's cool, huh?
Todd, time for dinner.
Mitch is cool because he starts off as this shady PI, barely more than a petty criminal. We think we've got him pegged because he puts himself down as someone who has never done anything right in his life. But as Samantha begins to change from a naive housewife into a hardened killer, Mitch basically takes the opposite track and becomes this indispensable, protective friend. He's still a smartass, of course.
You're always this stupid, or did you take lessons?
I took lessons.
And this was all by design in Black's brilliant script. The film is exactly 120 minutes long. And at exactly the 60-minute mark, the Samantha we knew is gone and she's fully Charlie Baltimore. It sets up what is a completely different second half of the film where she and Mitch go on the offense, no longer running from her past and the government goons on their trail. Speaking of which, the cast surrounding Davis and Jackson is pretty awesome too. You've got Brian Cox, who is great in everything, David Morse, and one of my favorite douchebag character actors, Craig Bierko. What a scumbag his government agent Timothy is throughout this film, man. Matching Charlie in just pure psychosis.
Sir, she's got the truck. She's headed out of town. I'm hurt real bad. I think I'm dying.
Continue dying. Out.
I always thought Bierko had one of those classic faces that you love to hate. He was a perfect madman and the right match for Davis. You wanted all of the bad things to happen to him.
You're gonna die screaming. And I'm gonna watch.
Yes, all of the bad things. And boy does he get it. Okay, so you might be telling yourself that an action movie about an amnesiac super agent sounds pretty derivative. And maybe you're right. The Bourne flicks did it like 5 times or something, right? But this was 1996, and with a female lead, The Long Kiss Goodnight was something we hadn't really seen before at the time, and that may have been part of why it struggled before becoming the cult classic we know it is today. The Long Kiss Goodnight is famously one of the highest selling scripts of all time, with New Line paying Black a whopping $4 million, the first to ever make that kind of money.
My My $2,000 ceramic Vector my mother got me as a special gift, you threw in the lake next to the car. What happens when they drag the lake? You think they'll find my pistol? Jesus. Look up idiot in the dictionary. You know what you'll find?
A picture of me?
No. The definition of the word idiot, which you fucking are.
The film opened and made just $33 million in the States, a disappointing number no matter how you slice it. While we already know Jackson's opinion on why it underperformed, Black had his own thoughts, saying in an interview, quote, "It might have made more money, they told me, but it had to be a woman. The lead had to be female," unquote. And maybe that's true.
Her light was extinguished in the big one of 2010.
But another possible reason had to do with that sinking pirate ship of a movie I mentioned before, Cutthroat Island. Released less than a year earlier, it is widely considered the biggest box office bomb ever, and led directly to the demise of Kuroko Pictures and wiped out the entire pirate genre until it was revived 8 years later by Pirates of the Caribbean. So, thanks for that, I guess.
Yes, it was very exciting. Tomorrow we go to the zoo.
The Long Kiss Goodnight would fare much better overseas, where female-led assassin flicks were the norm, thank you Luc Besson, and ended up with $95 million worldwide on a $65 million budget. Black clearly leaves the fate of Charlie open in hopes of a sequel, and in 2007, word started to bubble up that it may finally happen. Jackson was eager to play Mitch again, but as for Davis, well, the story wouldn't have called for her to return at all. It would have instead focused on Samantha's daughter, Caitlin, who was played then by a young Yvonne Zima, and who reunited with Black for small roles in Iron Man 3 and The Nice Guys. Caitlin would seek out Mitch to help him find the ones responsible for Samantha's death. That movie obviously never happened, but I feel like there's always some hope as long as Jackson remains up for it. That guy can probably get anything made that he wants. So perhaps we don't have to say goodnight to The Long Kiss Goodnight forever. The Long Kiss Goodnight gets 8 out of 10 Stallones. Thank you for watching our show. If you like what you see, please subscribe to our channel. Tell your friends who like this sort of content, and turn on the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest videos. We're an independent company and we appreciate all of your support.